Welcome to this new episode of Lucky Last. Today on the show, we are going to dive into a topic that's often whispered but rarely discussed openly: women's vaginal health. And today, to discuss about this, I invited Sarah Galloy, the founder of PINC Wellness, a brand on a mission to empower women with safe, natural solutions that keep them feeling confident and in control of their bodies. We will talk about Sarah's journey, uncover why this conversation is so important, and learn how to grow a business in a very difficult and taboo industry. Sarah, welcome to Lucky Last.
Thank you so much, Mary, for inviting me.
Thank you. And just before we start, Sarah is from Belgium,
Yeah,
which means that you have two English speakers with a French accent.
exactly.
So good luck to you.
We'll try our best. We'll try our best.
Let's start with the beginning. So you're coming from Belgium, so I would
Mhm.
love to know a bit more about your journey, but I would like as well to understand what inspired you to create PINC Wellness.
I think it's just literally out of my own struggle and the lack of answer that I've received from a doctor over the years. I've always wanted to, find solution that can help women with common issue like fresh and BV because I was suffering from these issues. And, I was going to the doctor repeatedly and I just couldn't get anything. Like it was just like this issue that I was just carrying for years. And the only answer that was given is just get some multibiotics, try meditation, maybe it's in your head, just like the total gaslighting.
Yes.
And I knew there has to be answers, there had to be a better way. And obviously, like, natural solution that can help women essentially just to regain the confidence and find solution for vaginal health.
So it's a mission
Yeah,
that help women to gain confidence and feel empowered with their body.
that's correct. Yeah.
Okay. And women are, as you said, often discouraged from talking openly
Mhm.
about their bodies. Why do you think vaginal health is such a taboo topic?
I think it's around the shame, it's like for many, many years as little girl, as teenager, as woman, we just hear in the background those whispers of there's the patriarchy, there's the image of women in porn, like how vagina should look like, how vagina should smell. Like this is just conversation that we hear coming from men. And I think we internalize. And even to these days, like I have some, customer that would send me some message saying, hey, your package has been sitting in my lobby and it's not a discreet package and I don't want people to know that I'm ordering product from you. And I always reply to them, say, we're not ashamed of our product. And you shouldn't be ashamed of buying product for your vagina. And one of the mission for Pink is to normalize the conversation. And the same way that you talk about gut health or skincare, then you can talk about vaginal wellness as easy, essentially.
Absolutely. I think there is a big role in education, and I
Yeah.
think this is what you are doing as well,
Mhm.
trying to educate women, but I guess not only women.
The men as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
especially
Oh, yes.
about this and about the fact that they don't have to be ashamed. It's part of our body.
Ex-
No, we should not hide it or just try to fantasize it. I think this is a really good mission that you are on. Do you have many pushback?
I think in terms of pushback, it's more kind of people and education. So women always feel that the issue that they have, like BV and Thrush, is it's their issue, but it's actually the couple because men are also responsible. And it's just there is a study that's been literally published in March last year. And it kind of baffled me that thinking that we've been waiting in 2025 just to find out, about this. I'm going to tell you now. But essentially, the bacteria responsible for BV, which is Gardnerella, we always been told as a woman, this is something that men cannot give you. Like it's not an STI. Men cannot like give you this bacteria. It's just an imbalance of your vaginal pH, and then you have the symptom of BV. But for me, you've had that many, many times. I always know that sex is a trigger. So for me, there's always a link between sexual activity, my partner, and the fact you have BV. And so when I would go to the doctor would just say, no, that's not true. Like, this is not true. This is not true. This is not true. I'm like, okay, well, this is my lived experience, but never mind. And now in 2025, we just found that actually men can carry the bacteria responsible for BV. And the reason why the antibiotics already didn't work is because the bacteria can live inside the penile skin. So not only you need to have the oral antibiotics, but you need to also take the topical antibiotics. And so men, for example, who are circumcised carry less this bacteria than men that are circumcised. So there is a correlation. And now we start to think, okay, well, maybe we can classify this disease as an STI because technically, yes, men can give you the bacteria and then you end up with, the infection.
Yes.
And
And
I'm
it's
just, it's been so many years, like, why are we finding this now?
we are
Under research.
2025 to find out. I think it's because simply it's not impacting men.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
like, nobody cares,
Yeah.
What's happening with women, it's a woman problem. It's not a world problem.
Exactly. It's a bit like endometriosis. It's just only
true.
now that we start to understand what it is and where it's coming from. Because I guess it's the same.
So, on this topic, what is one thing that you wish every woman knew about their own health but rarely gets told?
I think you have to advocate for yourself. So your vaginal pH, your vaginal microbiome, it's the same as your gut microbiome. It varies from woman to woman. There's different colon, there's different bacteria, and this will impact your vaginal health, dryness, lubrication, yeast infection, BV, fertility, because it's all linked. And each woman has a different microbiome, the same way they have different bacteria living in our skin. And I think women need to learn about this. It's normal to have imbalance and they need to advocate for themselves. When they have an issue, just go to see a doctor and just don't take no for an answer. Go see another one. Find someone who actually can understand you and trying to help you find a solution. You just don't have to live in silence thinking that living for you. I hear so many women, it was the same for me, but so many women coming to me and sending us DM and message and saying, I've been struggling for years with no answers. So, and it's heartbreaking to know women think something wrong with them.
It
and they
is,
just don't
especially
need it.
when you're dismissed by the doctors and
Yeah.
the medical camp. So, you decided to found PINC Wellness.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very taboo industry. What
Mhm.
was your first step?
So it took me a year to get the brand off the ground. And that's one of the reasons why it was so hard is because I'm an immigrant here to Australia. And so not only I did not have any funding, I didn't know anyone, I didn't have access to resources, people with knowledge, network. This is also part of growing a business. It's not about here's some money and, set up a brand. It's also about the people that resources. And it took me a long time because I just didn't know where to start. I had this idea. I was like, okay, I want to bring this product to Australia, but regulation, import, setting up a company. I wasn't a citizen. I wasn't a PR at the time, so I was on a temporary visa. Can I set up a company as a temporary resident? All these things create extra hurdle that you don't know. And it's hard. Going to the TGA regulation, I couldn't even read all the document in English, but I don't even know what that means. So that created an extra hurdle for me.
But it's amazing that you built it within a year. It would have
Yeah.
probably took me 5. So good on you for being so resilient, an immigrant, not the right visa,
Yeah.
not knowing anything about the industry, but decided, despite all the obstacles, to go all in.
I did. Yeah.
How do you find the products, the natural product that will work on women's body?
Yeah. So essentially, all the product that I have is product that I have tried on myself and I know that are working. Obviously, doing a lot of research, working with a consultant company that help with the manufacturing and create the exact product. And you just go there with a brief to say, I want something as natural as possible and something that works. And so I think there's a misconception to think that all the solutions are at the chemists, and that's not necessarily the case.
Fair. Fair point. So you started trying on these projects
Mhm.
and they worked very well
On
on you.
myself.
Yes.
So I thought, well, if it works on me, maybe I'm going to help another person. And that other person is going to turn into 2, into 4, into 8, into 16, etc. And actually the brand, I only had I think 100 units of the first product because I thought nobody's going to buy anything. And it got sold out the first month.
Oh, that's amazing.
And everything grew so fast, so quickly because I think it really resonated with customer, and I'll read you a review in a minute, but, someone had said, "Thank you for creating this brand." We really needed this as women to go into a place where you can buy something. You can buy a wash, you can buy solution for BV and fresh, vaginal dryness for women who are perimenopause or menopausal, underwear, bamboo's underwear. There's really something at every stage of womanhood.
So I was going to ask you, can you share a story that has impacted someone, that their life has changed thanks to
Well, let's
your product? I would love, yeah.
I need to read it because I don't know it by heart.
Oh, that's a long review.
I've got a couple, but we can cut. So one of the reviews says, "I've struggled with soreness and itching for over a year with no answers from various GPs and specialists, and these products have saved me." Another one says, "Love the product and feel like finally someone has understand the type of product I've been desperately searching for." This is really powerful.
This is really powerful and it's really empowering. It's telling you that you are doing the right thing,
Yeah.
you're on the right path. And despite all the negative feedbacks and the critics, you are changing lives,
Yeah.
And I think this is really amazing.
Really, really important. And I think the last one I have as well is I suffered from thrush for years, and I've gone to doctors so many times and used so many cream and medication, and nothing has ever truly made a difference. I started using the boric acid suppository and it made such a difference, and I barely have issue with thrush anymore. Also, my mom has had a recurrent UTI as she needs to catheterize and always has to go on antibiotics to get rid of them. But the antibiotics stopped working. So I bought her the UTI Defense Mist, which is one of the product, and it has made a huge difference. I haven't heard a complaint about having one in a month. I mean, it's just a recurrence, like the thankfulness for having found a solution, and it is really hard. I don't know if you suffer from like thrush or BV, but these issues are very debilitating.
I suffered all my life from UTI. Less since I got pregnant, and it's going much better. But all my life I suffer of that, and it was like very strong UTI. UTI that I can't not move. I need to stay on the toilet with 3 liters of bottle of water and just drink as much as I can and suffer in silence. I was going through antibiotics probably from my 16 years old when I had my first relationship to 32 when I got pregnant. Strong antibiotics were the only way for me to go over it, and they were knocking me out. Like, it was not funny. So I'm really upset that I didn't hear about you before, simply or this type of products before, because the doctor, the only thing that they always gave me was antibiotics.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was the right thing because my body was completely out. So I'm really happy to hear that women don't have to go through that and can use natural product that is going to help them.
Yeah, 100%. And, like I suffer also from like recurrent UTI. I have the Trinity fresh BV UTI, like the worst thing. And it's like, it's so. It's so debilitating. You just go see a doctor, they give you an antibiotics, you go see another one, they give you a different type of antibiotics, and you just go around like this, and you think you're just like crazy. You feel like, what's going on with me?
Yes.
So
And nobody cares. It's just like, here's your antibiotic
Yeah.
here until the next time. So let's talk about the business and how you funded it. What have been the biggest challenge that you faced?
I would say, as a solo founder, not having a network of people around me to bounce ideas. And I've always feel that it's a bit of a gamble sometimes, the decision that I'm making. I don't have any sort of like history to back myself. I never had a business before. And because I don't have a resounding board, I don't have an advisor, I find it like very challenging to be able to make those decisions, to think, okay, like what stock level I have to buy. Like, okay, I'm having extra cash. Do I have to, hire marketing, digital agency, or should I get someone in house? So, like making those decisions as the business grow, like I find it like now at the stage where I'm at, it's like extremely complicated, hard. I have a lot of sleepless night.
Yes, I can imagine. So you're pretty much managing everything.
Yeah, pretty much managing everything myself. And now I'm getting to the point where I know I need help. I don't know who those people are, but I feel like having a mentor can be incredibly important. But again, you have to find the right mentor. You
Yes.
know, who's that person? Has that person has experience in e-commerce, and growth to bring a startup to the next phase. It's not as easy as it seems. And some people, like when you go on social media, they think, you look like they'll all figure it out because if, oh yeah, I'm making this amount of money, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I don't think this is the reality. I think it's much harder than what it looks like on social media.
Yes, 100%. I think it is. On social media, you only see the positive, you never see the negative, which is a shame. I think we should definitely share everything in the journey. But to come back to the mentors, I think this is something that people that I interview say over and over again. Having the right
Yeah.
mentor help them grow considerably. But again, they go through a lot of struggle
Mhm.
sometimes to find the right one.
Yeah.
They will always learn something from a mentor, but it's not always the right one that you will find first.
For sure.
But I'm happy to share some recommendations that I got
Yeah.
for you. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And also this is, depending the person, I think there's different type of entrepreneur. There's people who are very attention to details, really meticulous, are very in in defining like details of thing. And for me, I'm a bigger picture. I'm more like the person who has idea all the time, not that great as execution.
Mm.
So, for me, I just need to find people that I work with that can just pick up where my skills is not as good, so yeah.
And how do you prioritize right now?
Well, I used to be an EA, so
Okay.
somehow, somehow I'm really good at organizing stuff, although I was a terrible EA. But my job, what was really good is I always worked with entrepreneur, CEO, and I was always a little fly on the wall, listening to what was happening in those big meetings with all the C-suite and etc. So kind of like picked up a few things along the way, in my previous career as an EA. So I think that kind of like helped me with my business because I wasn't those conversations. I wasn't even part of it, but I was hearing the conversation that CEO would have with the peers. So yeah, I think that really helped
It
me.
helps, yes. And beyond your products, what bigger cultural shift do you hope Pink Wellness will spark for women's health?
Just like normalizing. I just want vaginal wellness to become as easy as skincare, and why do we have to go when we go to the chemist? Like there's only a couple of brands. It's the same. I'm not going to name them, but we have so many choices for skincare, for even toothpaste or whatever it is. But for vaginal health, like we have nothing.
It's true.
And I think like I just want to make it as easy and accessible as skincare or gut health, and people shouldn't feel like embarrassed like to buy any of those products or to find those products in store, Woolies, Coles, you name it.
If you could give one advice to someone who wants to launch a business and probably a business in a difficult and
Mhm.
taboo industry, what would it be?
Do not get discouraged by people reaction, because when I first launched my business and I was saying, "Oh, I'm launching a vaginal health brand," like people were so taking, they're like, "What?" Like male and female. And it was like, "Okay, well, good luck." Like, it's cute. You see what I mean? That's sort of like
100%.
be like, "Okay, well, that's a nice side also." Like as in who's gonna buy this?
Yeah.
And I could see that in people reaction. And funny enough, because I was suffering a bit from imposter syndrome, it's not something I even now, like I don't post on my personal social media while I do my business. I'm not a founder of PINC Wellness or whatever. Like I don't do any of that stuff. But I think don't let yourself discouraged by other people reaction. If you really believe in the idea and you know that you have something in your hands, just do it, especially when you're solving an issue. Because chances are, if you have an issue and you're solving that problem, then someone else will have that same problem. And so you're going to solve their issue. So don't let yourself discouraged by people, because the truth is it takes a lot of risk to put yourself out there and launch a business, because you're always worried like, oh, nobody's gonna listen to my podcast, nobody's gonna buy my product, nobody. But to each pot, there's a lead. So any sort of like product that you're gonna put yourself out there, there will be a customer that will buy this product.
I
So
love this. And I'm going to jump on what you said about not putting yourself out there. this is probably the most difficult thing to do, to put yourself out there. I was the same. So on my personal Insta, I had a founder of Lucky Last podcast, but I was actually never posting
Yeah.
or very rarely posting things about
It's funny, isn't
Lucky
it?
Last. Yes. And recently I said, fuck it, that's me. That's my business.
Yeah.
That's my value. That's who I am. I need to go out there and show to the world, even if it's my personal world, what I'm, what I am, who I am, what I'm capable of. And believe me, not only it's going to help with your growth, I believe, but it will help you with your confidence.
Yeah.
It made me much more confident about who I am and what I'm doing and my vision with Lucky Last to share it to everyone. But it's such a journey to get there.
I think it's a struggle that I had even now. For me, social media is the biggest struggle. There is some solo founder, like this founder in general, that love to be the face of the brand. They just love to go out there promoting their product. For me, like I found this extremely hard to go say, can you please buy this product? It's really good. I just can't do it. Like I cannot like do behind the scene. Because I feel, I don't know, like I was just like, why people would, yeah, why people would care about like my life and what I do on a daily basis and what I eat for breakfast and like whatever. But I know people are because, people have built their personal brand on this. But I found it extremely hard.
I had this PR guru in an interview a few months ago, and he told me something. He said the biggest brands today
Mm.
are the ones where the audience can identify themselves to the founder.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah.
I know. And
But you have to do it. It's hard.
yeah, I know. It's such a difficult thing. Once you start, like you need to start and then you will get easier. Like I used to be like so shy. Now, my God, they know everything about me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And I think this is also like because we obviously like looking at social media and we consuming social media. So I know what I think when I see certain video and I was like, oh, I just don't want people to think what I think. You see what I mean? Like,
100%.
yeah, it's a bit, it's like,
I think we need to create before to consume, and
yeah.
then it will probably help. But like, I hear you. If you could speak directly to every young woman about vaginal health and self care, what would your message be?
So advocate for yourself. If you know something is wrong, like with your body, you just need to speak up and you just need to find a solution. Just don't stay in silence. Don't let society shame you. Don't let your boyfriend shame you, your husband think that something is wrong with you because could be vaginal dryness, could be vaginal smell, could be discharge, like all these things are normal. And I think it's just a shame around like what we have. I don't know if you remember, but when I was younger, there is this vaginal vaginal where, people would put rhinestone on their little pubic area. And then there is this trend of having a vaginal designer where, people, oh yeah, people would just well, it's a trend. It's just gone. There was this other trend with like vaginal designer where people would just like cut the outer labia because obviously like there's different size labia of women. And so because in the porn industry, there was a type of vagina, like women started to think that if I don't have that vagina looking like this, something is
right.
wrong with me. And I would hear some of my friend making comment of like having sex with their girlfriend. So yeah, her vagina look like this, like that. And so when you hear this, that's why you start to think, okay, maybe something is wrong with me. Maybe I don't want guy going down on me because I'm worried about like smell or whatever. And you shouldn't.
The 100%. There is actually this French influencer, you probably heard of it, like a couple of years ago, that was promoting vaginal surgery
Well, there we go.
after giving birth.
Yeah.
And she'd never had children.
Yeah.
But she was like promoting online. She had like 4 or 5 million followers
Yeah.
with kids, girls who were like 16, 15 years old, promoting this type of thing. And I was shocked. I'm like, how can you do that?
Yeah.
Like it's just, yes,
The
there's
insecurity.
yes,
No.
such a misconception about vaginal health.
Is it this place in Tasmania where there's a wall made of like casts of vagina? So essentially there's been like vagina has been casted and then put onto silicone and there's this wall and you can see like there's hundreds. They all look different.
Right, exactly.
Like literally all look different. Yeah. So that would be the message. Just
Yes,
don't worry.
great message. And one more question, a bit more personal now. Who inspire you today and how do they inspire you?
I would think that the self-advocating for myself, but I don't want to feel like it's all about me. That should just be late century.
For that, no?
But it's more about, I think when you have had a lot of hurdle in your life and you have to overcome them, just moving from Belgium to Australia, starting a business, English is not my first language. The backlash that I get from, my family, from my friends, I think it's, yes, you can have role model, but I think you just stop to a point where you have to push your boundaries and you have to like the resilience. I think is really, really important. You have to push the boat. Even if it's 1% every day, like 1%, 1%, 1% every day, then finally let you get somewhere. And, some people, they've been giving a lot of opportunity, but some they have to create those opportunity for themselves. And I think resilience,
Love this.
yeah.
That's
It's the resilience.
really good way to end this interview.
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining me in the podcast. It was
Thanks.
lovely to have you here. I will definitely share your website details and your Instagram as well. If people can reach out, they can reach out directly.
Amazing. Perfect.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Lucky Last. If you enjoyed today's conversation, remember to subscribe or follow me on your favorite podcast platform. And if you are more of a visual learner, you can catch the video version of this episode on my YouTube channel. Just search for Lucky Last and hit subscribe to never miss an episode. As always, your support means the world to me. So until next time, keep chasing your dreams and embracing those lucky last chances. See you soon!